Welcome to the new IT. I'm your host, one of your hosts, Bobby Glenn James, owner of Boteca IT Services, along with
Brad Anderson with TechBridge IT. We bridge the gap between business and employee.
Cool, and we're here to talk about the new IT. What's going on in the world today of IT? Hiring, firing, new jobs, bad jobs, old jobs, good jobs. You name it, we're here to kind of talk about it in the world of IT from our point of view, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, so we're just going to, as far as I can tell, we're just going to jump right into it, right? We're just
Absolutely.
We're going to see what happens. This is what, our
fourth episode?
Fourth episode,
yeah,
is it?
Fourth, yep.
Fourth episode. So we're still in learning mode, and we both... IT has been our world for a long time in a two-way different perspectives, and we just want to talk about it because it's needed and it's interesting to us. I mean, if you're not a nerd, obviously, maybe not, but hopefully if you're out there, owner of a company or something, and you're interested in hiring IT, maybe this will give you some insight too. Who knows?
Who knows?
What's the topic today?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
You were going to ask me the same.
Go ahead. I'll let you tackle that one.
So let's see. The topic today is on-premises or in the cloud. What matters, or is it the future, or what? What? That's kind of the topic. Is there a clarification here? I mean, you and me are just going to hammer out on-prem and cloud, and what that means in the IT world of getting a job, having a job, or what is it? What's the future, right?
Exactly.
What's the future of the world? And I think you and me always kind of lean the same direction, but we both also have different points and ideas about stuff, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're coming at it from different aspects.
Yeah.
You're coming at it more from the technology side. I'm coming at it from the company side, where we're focusing more on employee retention, getting employees into the company. So yeah, yep. I think it's going to be a good discussion.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's just jump right into it. We've got some questions here that we're gonna hammer on each other and kind of get some insight to on-prem or in the cloud, and what does that mean as you as an IT person, or somebody out there as an IT person, or as an employer that's looking for an IT person. Do you want somebody well-rounded? Do you want somebody that's focused in a niche? Let's face it, in this IT world, I mean, most people they're like certified focused IT, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's become specialized. I mean,
yeah.
we're in a day and an age where people are becoming more specialized. They're working on certain platforms, or they're working with specific software. So It's becoming more that niche, so to speak, and that's how you're putting yourself out there.
With that said, I want to jump right into a question to you, Brad. So, is with this niches and this specialty, and when people talk about cloud services, it's kind of basically taking things away from in-house, on-premises, on-property. Is that going to hurt the job world for IT people? How's that going to affect IT person looking for a job?
From that standpoint, no. I mean, it's not going to affect the job market at all. I mean,
really? That's interesting that you say. You need to explain it to me, because I would think it would.
No, I mean, so it's just becoming more specialized. Like how we were saying, things are becoming more niche. Well, companies are adapting, and the big cloud providers. I mean, you've got Azure, you've got Google, you've got AWS. All of these companies, they're starting to understand, and so what they're doing is they're creating certifications. So you still have your DevOps team, but your DevOps team doesn't have to be on site. You don't have to have your servers on site. So it's kind of that best of both worlds. So no, it's not really being affected, but you are going to have to be certified more and understand and know exactly what to do.
That's interesting. It makes me think of something else too. Does that mean it really niches because I own an IT services company? It just feels like there's more opportunity for us to grow as an IT service company, and for a company to not have to have in-house IT. Is that true?
Absolutely. So what we're starting to see the trend be is you don't have to have your IT guy on site anymore. He can be remote. He can log in remotely, and he can take care of everything that he needs to remotely, and not have to worry about paying somebody to be on salary, sitting there just to essentially watch
Play some
just
games
to make
or
sure
something.
something doesn't go wrong.
It's what we used to do. Play
Right?
some games.
Unfortunately, I think those days are coming to an end if they already aren't. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you don't need these big giant IT bloated departments anymore.
You really don't.
But the IT services companies can really, really come in and hone it. I say it all the time. IT is a silo, whether you like it or not. There's so many books out there that don't make your company a silo, but IT is naturally not a part of your business. I mean, I get that it's all a part of your business, but IT itself truly is just the technology that's running things. It's not what your company is.
Exactly.
So it's automatic silo, which already, and then put on top of that it only is about losing money. When you think of our IT, at least that's a lot of the mindset. Is the new IT though a different mindset than I kind of think it is?
No, you're right, and I think it is. I mean, I think gone are the days of having IT be this burden to the company or this debt that they have to incur just to make sure the data is safe. Now it's built in. Now it's part of just the everyday routine. So people are expecting it.
Do business without it.
You can't. You really can't.
No.
So and like you said, I mean, IT has changed the landscape. I mean, IT in general and cloud. I mean, you look at Google services. I mean, they offer cloud services, so that's part of IT as well. But who's really managing that? Well, more than anything else, now we're seeing, small companies can just have somebody quickly do it, just be the admin and do the basics on it and be fine.
And then they have an infrastructure of millions of dollars behind them instead of some goofy little server they paid $5,000 for in the back room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So help me understand. Why should a company consider moving to the cloud? What would be the benefits for that?
That question is interesting to me now because many years ago I remember seeing a VM server, or we were playing with VMs and we had put an OS on it and it was running on my computer and I had Windows running on inside this virtual thing and I was like, this is just a file and it's running an OS. This is the future. This is the coolest. And I remember putting viruses on it and stuff just to break it and then just, and I would copy the file back over and it was back and I was just like, dude, this is the coolest thing ever. And this was very early 2000s. VMware was just starting out and stuff, and it wasn't perfect yet. It had a lot of
flaws.
A lot of flaws. But I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this will change how immediately thinking no more hardware component needs. You can install whatever OS, wherever, on whatever, whenever. I just saw the future. And then not understanding at that time what it meant to put stuff in a cloud, which I told you that the cloud is supposed to be this magical thing in the internet, but people don't realize stuff is still on some hardware somewhere.
Exactly.
It's just not in your house, or it's not in your business anymore.
You're just taking it from your location and putting it in more of a secure location, where like a data center.
A data center, which is probably going to be 10 times more. If you've ever been to a data center, it's not easy to go in that place.
Oh no,
have to. Yeah, they secure that like Fort Knox practically. They usually have a man in the middle door where they have the two different doors, and you have to be on the list. If you're not on the list, or you're not the person, you're not getting in there. Now, where do we usually put the server at the on-prem? Some closet somewhere, or so. Yeah, it's super secure. No, it's actually it's not. So a part of the answer is it's safer, not only security-wise, not only that. And I tell this all the time. I could put my $5,000 server in the back room somewhere, or I could use what somebody has developed millions of dollars in infrastructure for. Which one do you think would be better to use? That's not even a...
It almost seems like it's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer. Why have it in-house? Yes, you may save a little money in the long run if you look at how much money you pay out but I love knowing what my budget's going to be, because that server could die and I need another 5,000 one, right?
Yep.
But if I'm paying $150 a month for some kind of services, or even $1,000 a month, if you've got a bigger company, I know that's what I'm paying, and I don't have to worry about any hardware.
That's actually more beneficial, because I mean, with going
No
to those bigger
surprises.
companies, there's no surprises.
No surprises.
There's no
I
upfront.
know how much it's going to cost me every month.
Exactly.
And I put that in the budget.
No upfront costs. No having to buy the server. You've already got it. So essentially, any company could get started in the cloud for as little as $150.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's
Yes. It literally is a no-brainer, and it's interesting that it's such a buzzword now. Everything is cloud. Blah 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 blah. It is the standard that's going to be for here on out.
Yeah, I agree.
The days of hardware in the building are going to be very, very, very few. Even laptop hardware and desktop hardware is going to start thinning out. We're going back to mainframe style stuff where we just have clients. I mean, that's the future, which was the past.
I agree. I think it is. I mean, I think Apple's starting to do it as well, aren't they? Aren't they starting to limit how much hardware you can put in and things of that nature by being able to limit solder in their hard drives and things of that nature?
Yeah, it's going back when that used to be such a no-no, but no, we're doing it again. I got a question for you though. So with all this, the thought of this, as an IT person looking for a job, should I still be well-rounded? Should I be still understand Prem concepts and ideas, or should I really just focus on cloud stuff?
Cloud stuff.
Should I really just pay attention to that and not even worry about?
Well, you are going to have a mix. I mean, there are still going to be companies out there
for hiring. So hiring is still matters.
Correct. Yes, it does still matter. I mean,
at least right now.
Right now, in this moment, yes. I mean, there are still companies that are regulated, that they have to have on-prem technology. So
right.
Yes, I mean, as we evolve and as the rules and regulations change, then I think a lot of that is going to start to change. But as of now, no, I think you're good to have that mix. But again, I mean, like we've talked about before, getting certified in some cloud technologies isn't going to hurt you from a hiring standpoint. More than anything else, all that's going to do is showcase you as being able to be more employable and that you know your stuff.
So you and I tend to agree. At least right now, it's not. I wouldn't rush out there and just be Gosh, it is still niche, isn't it? I mean, there's so much niche out there now. How do you?
Well, again,
I guess being well-rounded, being well-rounded even help you? God, I don't know. Now I'm confused. I've confused myself.
Right,
Brad, can you unconfuse me?
Yeah, I mean,
why wouldn't I just focus on understanding just Azure or just understanding Adobe X whatever?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're still gonna have that cloud technology that you're focused in on, but from a DevOps standpoint, you can still switch that out. So let's say you're working on Azure, but you want to switch to AWS. Well, you still kind of need to know that. So that's where it's not necessarily good to silo yourself on one DevOps platform or one cloud technology.
If I was a business that wanted a Azure person, would if I was really good with AWS, could I still try and get that job, or would somebody say no, sorry, you don't have experience? Or I mean, I'm just trying to understand, I guess, that kind of that market that you understand a whole lot better than I do, because I just
I mean, it really depends. I mean,
now that I think about it,
companies that hire those types of talent, they're already on that platform, so they're just looking for somebody to come in, either get them on it or something that maybe they have like a recommendation that they need to be on this for some reason. So they're looking for somebody to come in and say, okay, this is what we're going with. Come help me make sure that my cloud security is as safe as it can be and get it off the ground. Yeah. So it really does depend.
Interesting. Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
I guess so.
So are there any companies that would benefit more to move to the cloud than other companies?
That would benefit more to move to the cloud. So I think that question also gets me to think about do we still need Prem? So let's hit that too, if you're up for that.
Yeah.
So there are definitely. I'm trying to think. When you look at like manufacturing, manufacturing still has a lot of opportunity for on-prem stuff.
Why is that?
Well, because I think they have a lot of stuff going on in the manufacturing of products, so they already have things, and sometimes things needs to be quick, and not always. That's the one downfall of the cloud is you got to go through the internet to get to it.
Okay.
And so I'm just thinking of some clients that have manufacturing, they need like big blueprints and stuff that are, lots of megs to download, to move around quickly and easily on the manufacturing floor and that kind of stuff, which, if all of that was in the cloud, that might slow manufacturing down a little bit, or at least, I mean, and that's kind of just my quick thought, just trying to understand this. So companies that are just fast moving, that doesn't have big giant data passing back and forth, would definitely be more cloud suited, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Which I think is interesting because, like I would think accounting firms and lawyers and stuff like that would really dig
I would
it.
think, yeah.
But I think there's a lot of regulations there that stop them from being able to do certain things. And I don't know the ins and outs and regulations of that, but I do know there's, especially in accounting and in the law, there's a lot of stuff, hoops you have to jump through, financial stuff. Like financial planning, there's so many
regulations that they have to be put in place.
But those places I would think would fit perfectly with nothing being in the office, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this, where there just isn't even an office anymore. You can run, you could run a pretty big company right now, and not have a building.
Well, haven't we already started to see that with COVID? I mean, companies have gone essentially remote.
This building next door, 7-story building next door, hasn't had a car in it for 9 months.
That's true.
That whole
makes
company,
you wonder how they're doing it.
Yeah. And I hear they're doing it great. And I've also heard that they're only going to do 50% back when they start coming back. They've decided. So this is a changer for business. We see now, we do not have to have even a brick and mortar office anymore.
Well, I think it's always been there, but I think the norm has always just been to do it, to come into the office.
This is how we've done it for a long, long time.
Exactly.
So in the future, for sure, these lean companies that really want to, and the cool thing is for the consumer, that'll just help us because they won't have to pay for all their overhead.
That's true.
So because people don't realize, to run a business,
there's a lot
to it. And anywhere you can cut corners, that doesn't affect the business, it's better. So
Absolutely.
That's my 2 cents. I think almost every company, even the manufacturing companies deal with, we all have some sort of cloud service going on as well.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
every one of them. Every client I have has some kind of, either it's Google or it's even an offsite, and that's the key to cloud. It doesn't mean it has to be Azure or AWS. It can be some little company that has a data center in Hoboken, and they have a big server rack full of stuff that you can rent.
Interesting. Good to know.
Yeah.
So where do you see cloud technology in the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you really see it kind of evolving to?
That is interesting to me, because back then when I saw I felt like I saw the future I didn't really understand or comprehend the biggest far reaching is getting stuff off. I just thought we would have one big server in our building, and then you'd have a bunch of VMs running in it. And I didn't realize just how powerful it would be to get them away from your company, right? And have somebody else taking care of it. So I think there'll be a continuation. In 3 to 5 years, we'll see even less on-prem stuff, and even easier control of our data in the cloud. So just like when IT first started back many in the 80s or whatever, IT wasn't a thing. That department wasn't a thing. So what did they do? They took accountants from the accounting group because they were kind of nerdy and smart, and they started doing. That's where the first IT came from. Usually, they took them from accounting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
That's been a thing that we used to talk about that all the time. That the accountants,
because they're good with numbers.
Yeah, they were good with numbers, and they liked figuring things out, and that's kind of how IT got started. Well, it was hard back then. You had to be really, really smart to understand, and then people started honing in and becoming IT. Well, then things got easier, and now that's why the rude IT guy is not. It just doesn't work anymore because we understand technology now. The layman accounting person or the sales guy or the marketing dude now, they have a pretty good understanding of technology. It's not like it was back then.
Got it. They're not as specialized, or they don't know to the capacity of what it takes.
Right.
But they have the understanding to say, "Oh, okay, now I understand the basics." So this
and I think that's going to start happening in 3 to 5 years. Not just us specialists are going to understand it, but everybody's going to be in the mix a lot more. At least that's my kind of prediction that we will be so inundated that cloud will it's just a part of us, and this is the technology that we use to do business, and that's how it works. And we just have like a router at our office or in our home, and that's basically all the hardware we look at. That's my thought. And if you're not an IT person that doesn't thinking about this, I think you're going to be very affected job-wise. Like you said, the jobs will go differently, just like in the 50s when they said, "Oh no, computers are going to take away everybody's job." Well, they didn't. People figured out how to get jobs taking care of computers,
exactly.
And it worked.
Well, not only that, it's like the Y2K. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, we're doomed. The computers are going to shut down." Well, no, they didn't. They just found a different way to do it.
The singularity is what I'm waiting for. That's
there you go.
When the singularity happens. It'll either be, kill us all, or we'll be like Wall-E and riding around on our little.
It's funny you mentioned Wall-E, because I was thinking Wall-E when you were talking about your thoughts of the future with IT. It was like, well, it almost sounds like we're headed down that path.
That's not good. Hopefully, we'll at least take care of the junk, though. And
I hope so.
And we'll probably have a pill so we don't get too fat.
Right. Hopefully. Knock on wood.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, let me ask a question. So what do you think is the future for an IT person? What should they look for in the future? What should they kind of be focusing on growing in? Now that I've given you my 2 cents about what I think the future is, what do you think a person in IT should be looking for in the future?
Well, I don't think much is going to change. I mean, in that regard, I still think that we're going to have silos of technology. So I think it's good to understand and know your technology. If you want to focus on DevOps, then get to understand that process and get to know more about that. If you want to focus on specific software, maybe say Adobe Experience Manager or Salesforce or Sitecore, get to understand and get to know and train yourself. Constantly be willing to be trained and learn and grow, because that's what's going to matter at the end of the day. As we talked about earlier, the days of the rude IT guy are gone. So you need to stand out, and you need to be willing to be able to do whatever it takes to be able to get the job done.
So we go back to, we're going to need to focus more.
Oh, absolutely.
If you want a good job in IT, and now that I say that, we don't talk about the one thing in the room. I think that's kind of a one-off: security.
Oh,
I know
absolutely.
security is one of your 5, isn't it, of most desired.
It is.
Business.
Top 5 jobs that we're currently seeing. Number 1 is software engineers, because everybody can make their software and have them do what it needs it to do.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, senior web developers. Number 3, information system security managers or people that oversee the security process.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, mobile app developers, because we're on our phones and we're on smaller devices more than ever. And number 5, big data engineers. Companies are starting to understand, and they want to know how can we use this data? How can we benefit from having all this data? What does it all mean?
So if you're not, you think if you're not focusing in on one of those five, you're kind of missing out. And I see security. So all of us guys that hate all of that other stuff, us IT kind of geeks that I'm not I don't like programming. I don't like web development. I like the bread and butter of how
the hardware
it works and how to get in there and make it work. And I think the place to be when you're like that is probably security.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree. I mean, that's where it's going. I mean, it's
and that's not going anywhere.
No, that's not going anywhere.
Security is not. That's only going to be more and more and more.
It's only increasing. I mean, you would probably know the stats better than I do, but how often are hacks happening nowadays?
So supposedly every 14 minutes, a business is hacked, not into, but try to be hacked. Every 14 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every 14 minutes, there is some kind of an attack on your company.
Wow.
Period.
That's just insane.
It is insane. It is
so,
insane.
Yeah, I mean, and from that standpoint, I mean, IT isn't evolving, so to speak, we're doing the things to combat those things, but IT is evolving to not only security, but making sure that you're focused in on making sure that security is safe and that these companies, they're putting things in place to make sure that you are staying safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, this is cool. I think we could kind of talk all day about this. I mean, do you have any last words for the future of Prem and cloud? What do you think? Any last words?
In terms of last words, I mean, the only thing I can say is get to know both. I mean, right now, I still think at the end of the day, there are going to be some industries that have to stay on-prem. So it's good to know that. It's good to have that understanding, but understand and know how cloud technology works. Understand how to get certified, how to be one of the top people in your field by just knowing what's out there. Keep up to date on reading, keep up to date on information about learning what the new trends are and just bettering yourself.
Yeah. I agree totally with that. I do believe that the future is coming, though. I mean,
it is.
The world is changing, and I personally think it's exciting and cool and interesting, and I love the way technology is going. I wish it would go as fast as it could. I know that economically it would crash people to use some of the technology that we can do really quickly, and I'm not talking conspiracy theories. I'm just talking if I have $1 million worth of hard drives, I need to sell those hard drives before I can sell you the better hard drive. Do you know what I mean? Because if I don't,
absolutely.
Then I will have spent all that money, and so it's just economics that it slows technology down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean to a degree, I see what you mean. I mean, I think technology is still moving very, very fast. In my opinion, I mean, technology from 3 years ago is not what it was in
today,
and it's continuing to grow at a rapid pace. But yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it can only go as fast as the companies can make enough money to grow to make new technology.
Well, and not only that, I mean, technology is expensive. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's going to be a large expense. So companies aren't going to want to make this investment 2 or 3 years after they just did a major upgrade and spent millions of dollars.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the gaming industry, the computers wouldn't get as good as they
right.
If it was just business throwing that down. Well, cool. This is we got plenty of stuff to talk about. I think, right, Brad?
I think we do.
This is cool. Thanks for listening to the new IT. Catch us next time when we talk about something else dealing with the new IT. We'll see you next time.